And we're back for another Embargo 2023 stream, if you will, my friends. You got Brento solo today because I want to get into the idea of turning what you see before you into a multi-figure project. Obviously, a multi-figure on the surface sounds like one or more figures, but really what I'm talking about is a bit more extreme than that. I'm going to show you an example here shortly. Back in the day, I followed this other artist online. I actually reached out to him. He made these incredible hundreds and hundreds of figures type compositions using a combination of, I want to say, Carrera and some other programs. So it was not purely Daz 3D or Poser, but he played with scale a lot, and I became kind of fascinated with that concept. And I kind of wanted to explore that a bit more. So the idea occurred to me that maybe I could do this with the technology and the software that I have, and I would have enough memory to get to so far, and then I could just start rendering the individual figures out, so to speak, like this example. Let's see here. Open up a little small example here for you to look at so that it's not so abstract. So notice there's all these fleshed out scenes going on, images within images. There's like a bulletin board right there of an ogre, but then we have this cybernetic nun consoling like a very Logan / Wolverine looking character right here, with a werewolf sitting beside them, nonchalant, waiting on some bus, and the caption says "Got Orc." There's another of my renders here, actually a client render right there that I used. And then as you look closer into this image, you start to notice there's all these other pieces of action taking place. So I was a really big fan of the Derek Riggs artwork of all of the Iron Maiden album covers, or most of them, and began trying to emulate that style of telling stories within stories, So here we have a big demon and some sort of a model, and then down here some creature is carrying a figure, and there's a guy sitting there watching them. There's someone with a camera, so it's like it's a movie scene. Actually, I believe that's Creech carrying a woman. And then over here, there's like a bot holding up this robot's shoe, like it lifted up for some reason, and all these little tiny things happening, not so much behind the scenes, but within the scenes. And that is kind of the style that I started really kind of trying to work up. And so when I say multi-figure, like look at this, there's two figures right there. If you, I just want you to be able to look back at the image and just see more and more each time you see it. I do have some other examples out there, but you see what I'm doing here is basically, I'm sorry for all the coughing, guys. It's been crazy with allergies this year, and I don't typically have allergies, but years and years ago, I made this figure, a render work that took me about 6 months. Actually, first I'm going to show you just a few more of these attempts that I've made to do such a thing, and some of them get kind of crazy as well, but I'm going to keep sort of building up to show you the big Mac Daddy, so to speak, of them all, which is an image I made called Enter the Net. So these get progressively crazy, but I've always wanted to go back and visit it with a faster computer that I have now, and just do a better job of the concept. Let's see here. Got one more I want to show. I'm going to pull these up in Photoshop for you. I'm opening files in the background, guys, so you don't have to watch me go through that whole process. But just to let you know, today being Halloween 2023, it's a big day for me. I'm part of something called Better Baden Incorporated. We're trying to make all kind of cool events for folks that live in or visit the town of Baden, North Carolina. And the big thing is Boo Fest. I have sort of volunteered as the guy to make the films, projecting the films in the park happen, and the whole committee got behind it this year, and it's turned into this really big thing that I'm really proud of all the work. But the weather is a bit shaky today, but I'm confident that it's going to come off. But I'm leaving the office here in about half an hour or maybe an hour to go out and start facilitating that, and that's all this evening. So it's a big deal for the kid, put a lot of work and a lot of meetings into that. So I'm all for my granddaughter, of course, to be able to have something cool to do. But I think we're about at a point where I can jump back here and start showing you these. So obviously, this waiting on the bus type image, you can find all these on my DeviantArt, by the way. It's just Gray Bro on DeviantArt. But, you can kind of see where the inspiration has come from. And so here, I did something crazy by getting into these low-res zombies available. I want to say one of those, gosh, I'll get the artist name later and try to add it to the description, but makes a lot of low-res figures. And I kind of start at the back and come forward and built all these characters. These are face gen characters of people that I've worked with. There's a face gen character of myself, one of my actor buddies that's long since deceased, and another actor buddy. There's my Wolfen available at Renderosity for Genesis 3, one of my first figures. This is a version of me in my old three-piece folk trio. I played the mandolin in that. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Spider-Man swinging back there. This is my buddy as Elvis. This is the new Mr. and Mrs. Creech. My buddy Robert Fillion represented there. That's a face gen character of him, and that hat. He used to wear that particular hat when he was doing cinematography. So you can see there's a ton going on. If you count each of these zombies individually, there's probably over 200 figures in this. But then progressing on, sometimes I did it a little more tastefully and just always looking to play with scale and build more interesting figures. But what all that came from was this massive project right here, and this is called Enter the Net. And as you can see, there are a just absolute plethora of figures and little scenes happening. A bunch of Maroon Ninjas are attacking Creech up here. There's this Chaos box, which is a prop of mine called Chaos Props, a product of mine. That's like a box that fills with blood and has all these runes and skulls on it. There's these skeletons getting staked through the heart. A priest fighting with demons. A arachnoid woman, and if you look closely, all these little ants are sort of attacking her. This is the Dark Raven character from Mind Vision back in the day at Rendo. This is, I think, a 6/1 creature, and underneath the shelves over here are various figures and scenes happening. Some of them are interacting with each other while others don't. Ninjas in zebra suits I thought was hilarious. Some of my favorite products. This is Chavez, one of my very first projects, I think for M2 or M3. This is one, my Chaos Warrior. There's another Chaos Warrior. There's another Chaos Warrior. So sometimes these figures would be, related to products of mine, such as this one, Creech and Mrs. Creech. And then other times just totally random. But this Manito, I had something to do with that. So it's just like my history in the Rendo world, and then things that I've purchased and used over the years. This one rolls deep. I've forgotten all the stuff in this. There's actually there's a high-res version, even though it doesn't look high-res on here. If you go to my DeviantArt and look at the actual image, it is high-res. That said, what I want to do is make an even higher res work like this and not take 6 months to do it. By the way, that's a character of Obama from a now defunct website that you can make him out if you actually look at it. But I need to put this on a shirt first off. I really need to put this on a shirt, and I think I have it in sufficient high res to do that. And come to think of it, let's see what the actual resolution is. Well, you know what I can do is do this. Let's get back out of this scene right here. We go image, size. Oh, that is a low res version. Let me get the higher res version. Okay, so let's go to close that, close that, close that. Let's see what our maximum resolution that I can get. I probably have this on a drive somewhere as well. But now I have not, what I have not done is actually get into using Topaz to size this up, because I bet I could do that successfully. I'm not going to do that on camera, it's just too long, but I tell you what, I think I could probably make that work. But in any case, by the way, a neat little Halloween greetings thread over here on in the comments at Daz, where folks are just putting their little Halloween renders, and some of them are quite cool. Really like that one. I digress. The idea is that we're going to be building a multi-figure out of this little image right here that we started with. Now, some things are probably going to change, but I have 64 gigabytes of physical memory on this machine. Not for nothing, but that's probably going to be way more than you have. And this just happened because I had a really bad A rendered machine motherboard go out, so I had enough of the physical memory, and I got slots for, you know, knowing I had that memory to make it available to have all that on actual onboard RAM for the next one, and it just worked out. But so because I know I'm going to be adding tons more things, and the geometry is starting to slow the machine down, so that sort of tells me when the navigation, let's get off of this and let me just kind of show you what I'm talking about here a little bit if I can. So that's actually rendered. Let's stop that. Let's just go to our preview camera. And you see it's moving, but it's not quite as liquid smooth as it was. And that's the computer telling you, hey, all of my random access memory is being used up. And I'm going to make other individual, like for example, if you look, I've got different cams. All right, let me just show you. Sorry. I'm going to turn this off for just a moment. Actually, I don't have to do it that way. So Maggie Cam, I just added a pre-built character of this character I call Maggie Raider. Backstory on that is the Daz magazine featured a comic strip, which I did. This was a character that I made for that, and I saved it, of course. I never let any of my characters go away. And all these years later, here you go. I'm messing around with her again. What I can do is just create, that's a camera that I load with her by name. I saved it with the character because I know I'm going to want a character. Why not just go ahead and do it? And then I don't have to struggle to be able to make it and associate it with her. It's already kind of done. Although I will say in this case, it's kind of being a drag. But you see that the machine is slowing down. So, jumping back, oh wow. So let's venture back to Photoshop just for a moment and think about what's happening in my Daz Studio window is things are slowing down. I'm trying to make changes here, and they're just taking longer when I'm switching from one interface to the other. So I'm going to turn this camera off here. What I'm doing here is, so I've saved this, and I know it's going to be a multi-figure, a big multi-figure work. And one of the things that I know that I'm going to need to do is to lighten the load, so to speak. So if I look at my composition, this is the camera. Okay, I'm not going to change that. That's been locked off. But what I can do is I can set up other saves of this that don't have the things that are here in the middle. For example, I could get rid of these two characters. I could get rid of everything on the stump. I know what I'm going to work on next. I tell you, just let me take a little pen here so I can kind of create a drawing that sort of illustrates what I'm speaking of here. So let's do a fuchsia, little pencil tip. It's too bad I don't have my my drawing tablet, not my tablet, but my drawing screen set up right now. But so I know that like this area right here is going to be filled with an army of small figures, and I don't know exactly what yet. I haven't decided what they're going to do. I just know that they can't obscure this, but anywhere in here I can have little things happening, you know. And then another area that I know I'm going to do the same thing with is kind of right here. I already in my mind imagine a little colony of people kind of walking this highway. There could be carts, there could be cows, you know, pulling a cart, medieval stuff. I've already kind of set up in that scene that I just saved the Maggie Raider characters right here on a boat, and she's running a boat, and she's kind of at an in-between scale. 5%, my scales are right now, like I think this girl is probably 25%, or maybe not, but the small characters down here, these are actually 2%, which is crazy, but it looked right with the ship at 5%. So you just kind of got to play with your scales. But so obviously this is going to get to be a really heavy, tedious screen to work with, or scene to work with. I shied away from Genesis 9 here because that does fill up a scene very, very quickly. But I am going to go and I have an idea of having like some characters hanging onto the snake and rappelling down a line. And you got these little characters here, and all that'll be kind of its own scene. So you sort of see here that I am breaking this up into reasonable chunks that can kind of become their own scene, right? So like if I have one, there we go, one, and then we go up here, and we go, that's its own scene. We go two, and once again, we go here, and we go three. And then for sky traffic, I think we can even go with a fourth scene up here somewhere that shows things going behind these trees and making the sky look super busy. So I've kind of taken the first scene, you know, with just the essential characters here as far as I can. Actually, there's probably a total of 7 scenes here that could be isolated. So I don't need to have all this in the screen while I'm working on this over here, for example. So my next move would be to clear this scene with a locked off camera and start building this out for number 2, or number 1, number 2. Actually, I don't know why I call this scene 1. That makes absolutely no sense. Sorry. Got my numbers wrong, but you get the concept, right? 4, actually that would be 5. 5, whatever. It's just to show you the idea. So what I'm going to do is I've already saved this scene as deck 1. So now I'm just going to make 6 or 7 variations of this where I just save it out. Same name, change the number. 2. Hopefully this starts to make some kind of sense. It lets me leverage that 64 gigabytes of physical memory over and over and over, and then just composite it in Photoshop. no chance of messing the scene up or getting it too full that I can't go back, because that's exactly what will happen if you don't save it as a new scene. You'll end up corrupting your scene and you'll lose everything.
What you say? I can hear you thinking, man.
Okay. I think I want to stop it. I can always go back to 1 and make another one if I need to, but I'm going to stop at 7, I believe. Or we'll just stop at 6. That's enough for now. Then we're going to go to number 2. Start working on number 2 so you'll get the idea of what The Rock is cooking. So let's just open up number 2. And you'll see this will get very easy to work with. Definitely my last little bit of chill, because it's going to be on like Donkey Kong when I get out there. Setting up all my Bluetooth and PAs, my projector, my big screen. Have not used my big self-inflating screen yet, so I'm excited about that. I'm really going to make an effort to try to document the whole thing. I'm like a dork that doesn't mind wearing a camera on his neck or his head, and so I'll have a camera on for a lot of the setup. And then we will just do, I don't know how much of that I'll share, but I do like to store that for just looking back. I'm a nostalgic dude. If you look at my renders, I mean, obviously this is an old figure. Of course, I'm going to put the new Creaches in here somewhere. I just always like to get that old Poser Creech in there because I'll tell you what, the owners of Poser showed me a lot of love, and I really was just the project manager on that. Vic 3D and Midnight Stories did most of the work on that. Chris Highgate, I think, was a part of the planning, aka Mustafa Lease. So I miss those guys. I don't get to chat with them too much anymore. But hopefully this scene will finish loading here. I don't know what the holdup is. It's just taking a hot minute, right? I'm not responding. That's not good. That's never good for a stream, my friends. Although I'm not streaming, technically I'm recording when I'm going to upload it. But I've had a couple people, comment on these lately, and I really appreciate that. Makes me feel like somebody is going to actually watch this. Whoa! Happy Halloween! You guys want to check out my stop motion puppet that I've been working on? I am about to. He's going to be a werewolf eventually, but I don't know how I'm going to handle the face just yet. If it'll articulate it, or if it'll just be like in a constant wolf shape. But I found this crepe fur that I really, really like. Man, that looks nice. Gonna be hot gluing the mess out of that at some point in the future. In the near future, hopefully. Well, I don't know if we have crashed our... but if we have crashed it, we've had 3 or 4 successful saves. It might still just be trying to save that file. So I'll give it a couple of minutes here. And if it doesn't do the do, then we're going to just disconnect it. I'll check my email. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just reboot Daz real quick. Looks like we crapped the bed, so to speak. There we go. Finally gave me the closeout message. I think we have a pretty good plan here. Probably going to stream another 15 minutes or so if this loads up, and start working on that new area. I think I want to work on this area first because it's really interesting to me. This could be aquatic people since it's a mermaid, you know. We could have more boats out on the water if we wanted. So now we're just going to open number 2, Cliff House Deck 2. I think we can do something big with this, though. I'm excited about it. Before, when I was making those others, I did not use any of the awesome Predatron low-res figures. I also did not use any instancing because I'm not sure it was available at the time, and if it was, I didn't know about it. Halloween. Of course, we were just waiting on this to come back out. That's the only part that shows us is actually fully rezzed up right now, even though I'm seeing it in the background. Well, I don't know if we're going to get to working on this or not. I might have to just kind of... I got to do a little bit of prep. Got to put one more little video piece on the jump drive that we're playing out there tonight. And I'm definitely charging up cameras. Might behoove me to go ahead and do all that instead of just trying to get this stream rolling. But at least we've laid out the game plan. We streamed for about 30 minutes and the game plan is set. And maybe the next time we jump back on this stream, I will have a little bit going with regards to what we're actually doing next, which maybe I can kind of be up in this area right here or here. This seems like it'll be much easier. That's why I want to approach this with the smaller scale stuff. But that seems like a reasonable plan. And yeah, let me get this Halloween out of the way, and then I should have a little bit of time tomorrow to continue this work right here. Thanks for watching.